Okay, if I could have our county commission candidates up, please. Mr. Bell and Mr. Ford, I believe.
Solo, yeah.
Come on up, have a seat.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, man?
Good.
It's good to see you. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself. You got a minute?
Yeah, Matt Ford, Republican candidate for Greenbrier County Commission. Started school at a Department of Defense school in Germany when my dad was in the Army. We moved back, went to Crichton Elementary and Junior High, graduated from Greenbrier West High School in 2000. Graduated from WVU with a degree in biology in 2004. A master's degree from Marshall University in 2006. Worked for various environmental consulting and construction firms. Started my own company in 2019. During the process of work, I've also spent a long time volunteering with the Meadow River Valley Association, a nonprofit that was started in 2018. Very involved in flood recovery with many other people here in the room. I want to be a county commissioner to help and continue the work we've been doing over the last several years.
Awesome, thank you. We'll start with a detailed question, I guess. This is from Real West Virginia. Real West Virginia has reported on a sportsplex recently, a project that began a decade ago to house athletic fields near the landfill in Lewisburg. $2.5 million has been spent so far, with commissioners saying it will take at least another $10 million to complete. Do you support completing the sportsplex at its current location?
I do not support completing the sportsplex at its current location. As an environmental consultant, I am also a project manager. I think we need to take a look at the project in general. Necessarily, the issues with it aren't only the location. I'm not opposed to building a sportsplex in Greenbrier County. As I've talked to people across the county, there are people that say we should just cancel the whole project. I'm not in favor of the county wasting $2.5 million on a project. But as a project manager and a grant writer, how can we salvage that particular project if the county wants to build a sportsplex? We need to look at it on a bigger picture. There's a lot of outdoor recreation activities. I think the county needs a complete outdoor recreation plan. We put one of those together for Western Greenbrier and Eastern Fayette, so I'd like to see the sportsplex as part of that conversation. And if the county wants a sportsplex, I think we need to be looking at outside dollars before we spend all of our arts and rec money on one project. That money needs to be distributed. So I think we need to make sure we're not leaving money on the table before we spend local tax dollars.
Okay, thank you. Next one has to do with transparency. In the area of fiscal transparency, most counties in West Virginia participate in West Virginia Checkbook, which places their financial records online for public view. Greenbrier County does not. Would you support this transparency measure?
I would. If you're spending county tax dollars, you should be able to justify every cent that is spent on the county. I've been a contractor for the county commission, and I'm fine with everybody knowing what I've done for the county commission. I think that's very important and adds to trust. You can't ask for different projects to spend tax dollars if you can't tell people how you've already spent it.
Thank you. Next question is going to be about data centers, and it's kind of two-part. One has to do with the legislation passed this year that centralizes decision-making about data center projects at the state level, and also pulls about 70% of the revenue to Charleston. And I think a lot of folks were surprised when they've actually sat down and read it when the data center started happening. So at the county commission level, what can local authorities do to reassert control over what happens in your county?
Well, I'll preface my answer by saying that I'm 7th generation to live in West Virginia, and my grandfather and great-grandfather were union coal miners, and West Virginia has a long history of being exploited, and I'm concerned that we're giving away the farm on data centers. I'm not necessarily opposed to data centers, but if we're doing economic development in West Virginia, it really needs to help improve our current situation. So yeah, I'm not opposed to them at all. You're keeping your time on a smartphone. My brother works IT. We need technology, but I think we got to be smart about where we place those. I would like to see that we need to petition the state for more local input in where those are located. As an environmental consultant, if we're going to, and we're in West Virginia, I would love to see those. If we're going to build them, we build them in places like mine-scarred lands where we're already spending money to treat groundwater. So you can put them in place and take care of an environmental issue that the state currently spends a lot of money on to treat. All those data centers need water for cooling. So if you can provide a public service that's needed and clean up a legacy environmental issue, I'm in favor of that.
Thank you. You answered two questions in one. The next one was going to be data centers in general, so we already got you. Let's talk about a little bit of geography. So you're competing for the Western District slot on the County Commission. For generations, there's been a perceived split in the county between East and West. What do you think the eastern end of the county can learn from the western end and vice versa?
Well, I'll start by saying it's not perceived. There is a difference between the two sides of the county. I can read a map and I can watch the weather report. As an environmental consultant, I do a lot of drilling, and if you drill over here, you're going to hit karst, and if you drill over on the western side of Greenbrier County, you're going to hit sandstone and coal. And because the geology is different, that has made the economies different. There's been a number of times that I've driven from Rainhill to Lewisburg, and I pull off the interstate, and I'm the only person where my vehicle's covered in snow, and everybody here is wondering why in the world school's canceled. So the difference is very real. But I think, and I can tell you this from the experience with flood recovery, I think the western side, what they can learn from the eastern side is, I've never liked to hear, well, the eastern side gets everything. With Rupert Elementary School, when the county announced they were going to close that school, it would have been easy to say that someone needs to come in here and fix this situation. Well, we put a team together and we raised almost $6 million, and this is all Western Greenbrier County people that was involved in that. So we, as a whole on the western end, we need to learn that we can do anything that we need to do if we put our mind to it. Going back to the sportsplex, if we want a sportsplex, we can build our own. We don't necessarily need county money. We can raise the money and do it ourselves if we really want it. And I'm looking forward to help do projects like that. As far as the east end from the west end, what they can learn is we've got a long history of just going in the ground and getting to work. So I'm proud to be the grandson of multiple coal miners, and I think that's not saying that people from eastern Greenbrier County don't work, but it's a whole different thing when you're putting your life on the line, you're going underground. There's a lot to be learned from those people.
This was more a general question about teamwork. So county commissioners work as part of a team. Would you consider yourself a team player, coordinating with the others, or a maverick challenging the status quo?
A little bit of both. So there's almost 32,000 people in Greenbrier County, and there's 3 county commissioners. If you're a county commissioner that can't work with a lot of different people, you're going to be a failure as a county commissioner. So Rupert School's a good example. We put together the team, raised almost $5.5 million. Meadow River Rail Trail that I've worked on for a number of years, it required a team. We put that team together and we've raised millions of dollars to connect Greenbrier County with the National Park. All that's a team effort. So when it comes to the sportsplex, it can't be 3 people making a decision for the sportsplex and what happens. There needs to be a lot of public input with planning and zoning. There needs to be more input than there has been. There's been a lot of confusion about my involvement in that. I did not write the zoning ordinance and I did not write the comprehensive plan. But what I am good at is public participation. And the county hired me to do the public participation portion of the comprehensive plan, which made me the face of that plan for a little bit. That's because I'm really good at getting people together and really good at getting people to talk and really good at making things happen. So that's why they hired me to do that.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it, Matt. That's all the questions we have.
Thanks, sir.
So,